Hi, what's up, everybody? Here to give a little bit of E3 2017 reactions. And E3 is kind of like my Christmas. I get super excited for it every year. I sometimes don't make it into work. Um, I make a big deal about it. Watching all the press conferences, get super hyped, getting into the group chats with all my geek friends. And this year, for whatever reason, was a little bit different in that I did not get really excited for it. I mean, I was still looking forward to it, and I still watched all the stuff, and I'll give you my reaction. But for whatever reason, I didn't get excited. I think partially it was there's a sense that an idea of what's coming out for the rest of the year, and I don't know. To me, there wasn't too many things that I'm super like. I guess there wasn't a lot of things that they could announce that I would expect anytime soon that we didn't know about or whatever. I think part of it is also that like I do it to myself every year where I get overexcited and overhyped and nobody ever really delivers what you want. It just happens. So like think of how many times where I or you or whatever have said like Nintendo has to do this year, and then they come out and show one game and do nothing. Um, so I didn't get really excited this year, and that worked out in my favor because I thought that this year's E3 was pretty lackluster. There just wasn't a whole lot of excitement to any of the shows. They're all just pretty just mediocre. Uh, like if I could sum up, the industry statement at this E3, it was we got nothing. Because that's really what it felt like. None of the shows had any real big surprises. A lot of the shows, like their big game, they like to close out on a big game, like, ooh, check this out. Was stuff that was the big game last year, or was just. Look at Sony. Last year, they showed Spider-Man like a minute like teaser trailer for it, and then that's their big game that they close with this year. We already knew about it. It looks great and all. Get out of here, kitty. Go on. Go on. But we already knew about it. We've already seen snippets of it. Like, yeah, it was great to see more. The game looks really good. But that's your big show closer, Spider-Man, the game that we've known about for a year. So overall, that's kind of how I felt about most of the show as a whole. They just got nothing. And like halfway through, this is like the first day of it, or whatever, the second day of it, of the pre-shows. I'm like halfway through watching Microsoft's, and I'm like, I remember tweeting, I'm like, I guess they don't make games for me anymore. And then as the show went on, there was more. There was stuff that like I could be excited about, like Ori and the Blind Forest, or not Ori and the Blind Forest, whatever Ori 2 is, or this game Ashen that looked like a character like action adventure type game. That looked cool. But in general, like, yeah, I don't know. It just feels like a lot of the ways the industry is going, I could give two shits about. I don't know. But I mean, there were games to be excited about for sure, and I'll get into them. But just as a whole, I found it to be pretty disheartening. Luckily, I didn't go in with a lot of expectations. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weak year if you ask me. I think anyone trying to like spin it any other way, I think they're lying to themselves. Like I just like think of the show I don't know if Sony had last year or the year before. It was just like constant, just super wow surprise after surprise, and some of it is kind of like empty promises. Like, oh, Shenmue, would you please kickstart this? Or like Final Fantasy VII remake. Like, where the hell is that? You didn't heard shit about it this year. But just for pure showmanship and to get you excited, that was great. Everyone fucking lost their shit that year. There's nothing like that this year. There's nothing. The closest thing I could think of is Metroid Prime. No. Metroid Prime 4 or Beyond Good and Evil 2 were like two big ones, but we'll get into those. Why don't I just start to go through the shows in order as I remember them? No notes. I'm just going by what stuck out in my memory. And if it didn't stick out in my memory, well, maybe I have bad memory, but also maybe it wasn't memorable. EA, honestly, they always suck. They sucked this year. Like, Battlefront 2 looks good, I guess, but I own Battlefront 1, and all I've ever played on that is the VR mode. So, I do think A Way Out looks cool. It definitely looks interesting. I like the idea of just going full co-op, like, hey, you're not playing this by yourself. And to do that split screen presentation, no matter what, even if you're playing with someone online, I think that's cool. Like, I'm super intrigued by A Way Out. Sorry, I've just got really dry throat. Probably should have fixed that before I hit record, but oh well. So yeah, I don't know if A Way Out's going to be great, but I'm super intrigued by it. It's probably, like, to me, the big standout from EA's show. I don't know how it's going to work out when it comes out, because I basically have to convince my girlfriend to play it with me, which that doesn't always go well. I mean, I'm sure I could get a friend online to play it with me, but then that becomes like a whole scheduling thing, and it's just like a hassle. But I appreciate that they're going for that. That's cool. What the hell was next? Was it Microsoft? Yeah, I will say Microsoft is next. I feel like I'm missing one. I don't know. Anyways, Microsoft, they showed like a lot of stuff, but the whole first half of it, like I said, nothing really, like... That's another thing about this E3. Microsoft debuted their new Xbox. Does it feel like a new system was announced at this E3? Doesn't to me. What reason am I buying this thing for? I don't think I'm gonna buy it. An Xbox One X, which I think is a bad name. It just feels cumbersome. It's too big of. It's like new 3DS XL. Like, dude, just call it Xbox. If you're gonna do this thing where you're just updating the system and you don't need new, like, I don't know. They kind of fucked everything up, but what am I getting an Xbox One X for? Oh, because then you could play the games in 4K. I don't have a 4K TV. Even if I did, these games are also designed to have to be played on my regular Xbox One. What's the point, dude? You know when I'll buy an Xbox One X? When my Xbox One breaks. That's when I'll buy it. I don't know, dude. Like, they did nothing to make it exciting or differentiate it from the Xbox One. What they should have done is said, this is actually a whole brand new system. Here are the launch games, and your Xbox One games will still play on it. Your digital purchases carry over. Everything carries over. But there's going to be brand new games for this system that only this system can do. And for whatever reason, they don't want to do that anymore. Or at least not yet. And so you got a $500 system that plays the same games as a system you can get for $250 or less. Makes no sense. They did nothing to make it worth your time or your money. None of the games they showed were like super, like, you know, Microsoft had the most to prove this year. with the new system, kind of been behind the other they're behind Sony this gen. Sony's been putting out exclusive games, Uncharted 4, Bloodborne, this year Neo, uh, Horizon, and great games. And what the fuck is Microsoft doing? I don't even remember most of the games that Microsoft showed. The funniest thing of all, the thing I'm like most excited for from Microsoft is Sea of Thieves, which is, I think this is the third or fourth year now they've shown that game. It looks like a lot of fun. I like Rare, and so and it has that Rare aesthetic, like the cartoony look, and I think it looks fun. I know some people say it looks like shit, and why would you ever want to play this? I don't know. I think it looks super fun, and I think it looks good. Like, it looks like a quality game. So I'm waiting to hear the release date, and they say 2018. I'm like, dude, every year it's next year with this fucking game. And yeah, it looks great, but like, it does not look like it needs like fucking 6 years of work. Like, I cannot believe that. I cannot believe Sea of Thieves is not this fall. And then off the top of my head, I'm trying to think, like, what the fuck does Microsoft have at all? Like, I can't. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank. Like, what big exclusive game are they coming out with this fall that I need? Nothing. Forza? Crackdown? Take your Crackdown. Get the fuck out of here. I know people like Crackdown. Like, some of the people I do my podcast with, they like it. I think the series fucking sucks. It was always like half of a game, a shell of a game. Like, I love platforming and going around collecting orbs. That's cool. But what was that first game? It was just like, go kill a bunch of dudes. It was like, go kill 12 dudes. That was the whole game. At least that's what I remember. It's fucking shit. That's your big game. That's like, I think that launches on the same day as Xbox One X. So like, that's their big launch title. Even though, whatever, if I want to play it, I'll be playing it on my Xbox One. Just nothing. Some stuff in the second half of the show, like, definitely, like, intrigued me. Like, Sea of Thieves. That game, the last night, it looked good. Although, apparently, the guy is a piece of shit that's making it. So, I mean, if what I hear about the guy is correct, that he's like a gamer. Like, normally, I don't like to say I'm not going to watch something because I don't like the actor in it because of what their political beliefs are. Or stuff like that. I don't like to dismiss entertainment based on the people behind it because of their personal beliefs. I like to judge that piece of media on its own. But that said, I mean, a guy who is a gamer, like, fuck you, dude. And on top of that, supposedly, like, some of, like, the plot or the messaging of the game kind of follows those fucked beliefs, then I have no interest. Like I said, Sea of Thieves, I really like to play that. Not coming out this year. Ori 2 looks good. Super Lucky's Tale, I think it's called. It looks like, just a bright, colorful 3D platformer. That looks good. I'll be getting that. I think that comes out November 7th as well. I can't think of it. That's it. Like, there was things in the second half like that, but it was like smaller stuff, like Super's Lucky, whatever the fuck. That looks cool, but whatever, man. I feel like I missed a conference in here, which was Bethesda, and I don't remember if it was before or after Microsoft, but Bethesda, they were okay, I guess. This is what I give all the conferences all the conferences at the very least were brief. They're all like fucking hour or less. I think Microsoft went over, but they had a new console to show off. Bethesda was brief. The only that sticks out to me, really, trying to think, is Wolfenstein 2. I'm excited for that. I have that pre-ordered as one of my favorite games of the show. I don't think the game looks significantly different or better than the first one, but I really enjoyed the first one, so it's fine, I guess. But like, it still looks kind of like corridors and super basic. But I don't know, something about they got something right with that the New Order, and it looks like they're continuing that with this one at the very least. That's about all I can say for Bethesda. Like, I guess Fallout 4 in VR, great. So moving along, let's do Ubisoft next. Ubisoft's show actually wasn't that bad, which is surprising because Ubisoft's usually really terrible and cringy, and I think it helped that they didn't have Aisha Tyler, honestly. And I like her, but like maybe she was part of the problem with their shows. Like, they still had some goofy stuff in there. Like, they had the Just Dance thing, but like that was totally fine. It was like 2 minutes of like a performance, and just, hey, Just Dance is coming out again, because no shit. Ubisoft, did they have anything? Yeah, they did. They opened with Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which is exclusive for Switch. And that looks cool. It was like Mario XCOM. I'm not super into XCOM or anything, but I think a Mario version of that I could be totally down for. Like, it looks cool. I think that's a perfect like Switch game where it's like you could probably play it a ton, but you could also play it in little chunks. So it's perfect for at home or on the go, like however you want to experience that. And I think it's going to be good. Then you have the whole middle of the show, which I don't remember much. They had a part about Steep. Who the fuck plays Steep or gives a fuck about Steep? I remember they have the Crew 2, which has like all types of racing in it, like boats and planes and shit. And it's like, I don't know. I thought the first Crew was kind of underrated. Like, I thought what was cool about it was you could just like drive to different cities and see how well they represented them, and they did a pretty good job. Like, I remember going through Chicago and like looking for specific things, and kind of there. Went to Vegas, and like, you know, the Luxor is where you think the Luxor would be, and shit like that. Like, it doesn't say the Luxor, but they got like pretty close, and like to do like the whole country, that's kind of impressive, even though the graphics sucked. So they should have just improved upon it for the second one. I don't know if adding all that other shit's a good idea. And again, overall, I just don't really give a fuck. Like, I don't know what else Ubisoft could have shown that I would have been like excited for. I don't like Assassin's Creed whatsoever. I would love to see them bring Prince of Persia back, but I wasn't expecting that. And of course, they didn't surprise me with it. And the only other thing is what they did close their show with. One of the few big surprises of E3. They closed their show with Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I'm a huge, huge fan of the first one. I've been dying for them to make a sequel. I'm one of those people. And if there's people that walked away from that announcement, like, super excited, good for them. I was not one of them. There's a major problem with that. One, they showed a cinematic trailer. So, I'm like, they haven't really done shit. This isn't even real. You know why? They showed a cinematic trailer 10 years ago, dude. And whatever happened with that, whatever came of it, nothing. They're doing the same thing again. At least that's what it was in my mind. Oh, great. You're making Beyond Good and Evil 2. Well, according to you guys, you've been making it for fucking 15 years or 10 years or whatever. So how am I supposed to blow my load over you showing a cinematic trailer again? Maybe if there was something in there showing me that you've actually worked on an actual fucking game. So it's just cinematics, no Jade, no Paige. There's a big fat fuck pig. But it wasn't Paige, I guess. I don't know what the hell's going on, what they're talking about. Like, this monkey, was it a monkey? He gets a fucking disc off the pig. He gets into a ship. There's some black chick, and they fly away in the ship. And it's like Beyond Good and Evil 2. I guess like the quirky characters and kind of like the world is shared from that, but the art style sure as fuck wasn't. It felt like a completely different. Like they're still kind of going for the Beyond Good and Evil tone, but also like we're gonna be dark and edgy, and there was like 3 fucks in this minute or 2 minute trailer, teaser trailer, cinematic trailer. Them saying fuck. There was no fuck in Beyond Good and Evil. It was a game that could be played by anybody. I think it was rated teen, maybe. There was no fuck. I'm not against fuck, but it has to fit whatever you're trying to do. Like, it just didn't feel right. And then now, days after, I'm hearing that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is at day 0 of development. So, don't get too excited yet, because Lord only knows, it may never come to be. And if it does, it might not be what you expect. Might be shit. There's even people, like, I've seen people say it's going to be a free-to-play game and this and that and early access, and I don't know if that's people just making shit up. If it's true, fuck Beyond Good and Evil 2. That's not what I want. And I guess that leaves us with... Oh no, I still have to talk about Sony. The Sony show was okay. There's like 2 big things that stick out in my mind from Sony's show, and that is God of War looks amazing. I'm not even a huge fan of that series, but that game looks legitimately great. And Spider-Man looks really good. Neither of those games are coming out this year. I think the only big game they have coming out this fall, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which is basically a DLC that got blown out into a full game. I'll play it, but I'm not super excited about it. That's it. What was... Did they have any big new surprises? I can't think of anything. The 2 biggest things I can think of is shit that was announced last year. God of War and Spider-Man. Granted, they both look really good. God of War looks great even, but... Okay. What's after that? Like, how come you didn't have anything else, like, to surprise us with? Or I'm trying to think. I know there'll be someone be like, how can you forget this and this and that and all this shit? I don't know. It's not sticking out in my mind. What stuck out in my mind, like I said, I didn't bring notes to this. I'm going by my memories. God of War and Spider-Man. There's a VR section in the middle to like just let you know that they haven't forgotten about VR. Nothing in there really excited me. Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Again. What the fuck? There was a tweet by somebody after all these shows that said, I forgot what it said exactly, but it was like, little did we know Skyrim is the only video game. And apparently, dude, I think it's lame on the fucking Switch. I think it's fucking lame as a VR game. If your big, like, AAA VR game is a game from 2011, fuck off. That's bullshit, dude. Like, great, whatever, but... And who really wants to play fucking Skyrim in VR? To play, like, a fucking hundreds of hours of game. I mean, I guess some people want to just lose themselves in VR, but I found the tech, and I own it, to be best in small chunks. It was cool. I guess I kind of take it back a little bit. I think the best thing I've played in VR is Resident Evil 7, and that was a full-on game. But even then, that's like 12 hours. It's not hundreds of hours and getting lost in this big world for fucking ever. Playing Skyrim that you've already played 8 billion fucking times. I don't know. If there's something else I'm forgetting, I'm sorry, but that's all I got out of Sony. Again, just everything, you know, Beyond Good and Evil, that would be a big one. If there was some gameplay shown. If I could have some faith that this is an actual thing that's actually being made and it's actually going to come out at some point in the next fucking decade. But I don't. I think it's smoke and mirrors, and it's never going to happen. And even if it does, it's going to be shit. And even if it does, it won't be before 2020. So what do you, like... If they had shown like a 3-minute trailer, Beyond Good and Evil, with tons of gameplay and said, summer 2018 or just 2018, whatever. That would be the E3 that I've known and loved. Again, sorry about the scratchy throat here. And finally, wrapping it up, Nintendo, who honestly, I know I'm biased. I'm a Nintendo fanboy. People that know me will say I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I don't think Nintendo show was awesome, but I think they won by default because every other show was so fucking lacking. And Nintendo show was lacking too. It was only 25 fucking minutes. If that. I think they just made the 25-minute mark. But that means not a lot of bullshit. And Nintendo, at the very fucking least, brought a couple fucking surprises. Thank you, Nintendo, for remembering what the fuck, what makes these things fun. So, Nintendo, I'm not going to remember everything that they showed, even in the 25 minutes. The things that stuck out to me, well, they did like little things. Like they had this Pokemon guy come out and say like, just so you know, we are going to make a Pokemon for the Switch. Because everyone's pissed at them about that. And they should be. I'm trying to think with Nintendo. I mean, they showed Super Mario Odyssey. It looks fucking amazing. It's that's my game show. Spoilers. Or, I guess, now that we're here. 26 minute in. Yeah, that's my game show. Super Mario Odyssey, that game looks amazing. I cannot wait to play it. It looks like both like a return to form for Mario. Like, people have been wanting more traditional 3D Mario, like Sunshine and Mario 64. It just looks like that, but with like crazy new ideas thrown in. The ability to like throw your hat at people and basically possess them, and like all sorts of things like frogs, humans, cars, tanks. It just looks like it's gonna be crazy, like it's breathing fresh life into the franchise that honestly still felt fresh. It just looks great. Like, it'd be easy. I'd be able to call it right now as my game of the year if the game of the decade didn't come out in March with Zelda. So that looked great. They threw out like basically. It was a teaser trailer, but it was basically just a logo that said Metroid Prime 4. Which is, essentially just as bad as Beyond Good and Evil 2. But here's the difference. I know they're going to make Metroid Prime 4. I know it'll be good. And, it'll come out in our lifetimes and not be free to play, early access, total bullshit. Maybe it also is at day zero of development. Again, they didn't have anything to show. They had less to show than Beyond Good and Evil 2, but I just believe it'll come out. Mark my words, it'll come out before Beyond Good and Evil 2. And just getting that recognition from Nintendo for what the fans have been asking for years. Metroid. Where the fuck is Metroid? Now it's coming. That was it. Then after the show, if you stayed and kept watching the Treehouse, all of a sudden they're just very casually announced, oh, by the way, there's going to be a new Metroid this year. I'm like, what? A 2D Metroid, and it looks fucking great. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. I guess it's a remake of Metroid 2, The Return of Samus for Game Boy. And this is just called Metroid Samus Returns. I forgot it's Mercury Steam, I want to say, who did a Castlevania for 3DS that people hate. I liked it. And I think that this Metroid looks excellent. And it's not just a straight remake of Metroid 2. It's a reimagining. Looks fantastic. It's like the two... There's 3 games from now to the end of the year that I'm super excited for. Can't wait to play. And it's in this order. Number 3, Wolfenstein 2. Number 2, Samus, Metroid Samus Returns. Number 1, Super Mario Odyssey. So I couldn't believe they didn't put that in their show and they just casually surprise, motherfuckers. That was awesome though. That was a great, great, great surprise. And that's why I give Nintendo a little bit more credit this year than the others. And Nintendo's usually really bad. But this year they're kind of yeah, we've been they didn't what Nintendo needed to do, what I wanted them to do, is one, hey, everything coming out now is either going to be for the Switch or 3DS and Switch. Which they did not do. And in fact, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but the Metroid game is only on 3DS, which is so fucking stupid. But I still have a 3DS, so as mad as I could be about that, I can still get to play it. So yeah, I would like to say, hey, everything's coming out on fucking Switch now. We're putting all of our development on the Switch so you get more games. But instead, it seems like there's more games coming out for the 3DS. Like, more than the Switch. That's fucking stupid. You want to breathe life in this console, show that you could support it. And you could if you consolidated your efforts. So that's fucking stupid. And yeah, I would like to see way more games and more of a roadmap of what's coming. But they did. Like, in the 25 minutes, there were things. Like, it's coming to my mind now. Like, there's a Kirby game. There is a Yoshi game. Like, not things that you're super excited about, but it's like, okay, cool. I get to see kind of a picture of what's happening in the next year or so for the Switch. But at the very least, dude, and, I would have loved, show me Pikmin 4. Show me Animal Crossing for the Switch. That's a no-brainer. How the fuck is there not Animal Crossing by this Christmas? I don't understand it. Can't be that fucking hard to make. Copy-paste like you've done with all the other ones. Throw some new shit in there. Needs to be Nintendo. There needs to be Animal Crossing on the Switch. I don't know what the fuck your excuse was on the Wii U. Needs to be Animal Crossing on the Switch. So yeah, I would have liked all those other things extra, but oh well. At the very least, they finally listened and said, you said you want Metroid, we're giving you Metroid. Even though we know we're not going to make as much money off of it, we're giving you your Metroid. So there's that at least. So anyways, this has gone on longer than I expected. That's my thoughts on E3. Again, games to look forward to for sure, but just lackluster showing from everyone this year. Nintendo kind of wins by default for me because, one, I think they have the best software with Super Mario Odyssey. Two, I think they had the best surprises. Shut up! But even then, I'm not saying Nintendo did A+, knocked it out of the park. I think nobody knocked it out of the park this year. Everyone did okay. Maybe Nintendo did a little bit better than them by not sucking as much. But it's not like it's not the end of the world. There's still games to look forward to, and I think they still will make some games for me. I just get a little dramatic sometimes, but so yeah. But again, there's only like 3 games for the rest of the year that I'm like super excited for. I guess I'll add Mario and Rabbids. That looks cool, even though it's not really my type of genre. I have a feeling their twist on it I'll like. So, anyways, thanks for watching. If you did. Later, guys.